Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly, presented by B&M Rods. Along with Cindy Stokes, I am Lyle, and Doc is under the weather tonight. He has a case of the flu, so keep him in your thoughts. He is not doing well at all.
B&M Rods, along with Cindy Stokes, I am Lyle,
almost forgot how to do this. Been so long. But anyhow, Doc is not feeling well, and he is at home, has been in bed for the last few days. So keep him in your thoughts. I know he'll appreciate that. Got a bunch of people in chat already tonight, and tonight we are going to talk about safety. There's been an issue that happened over the weekend. We're not going to get into names and different things, but we're going to discuss it. So any of you guys that are in chat that has any tips or anything to do with safety, we want to know about it. We have a list of stuff that we're going to go over tonight and talk about, but we're going to be looking up. We are going to be looking for other things that we might have missed or whatever, and we want to talk about that. And Mike Branham, you are correct. There was an issue over the weekend in a tournament in St. Louis where a gentleman fell out of a boat. They was putting an anchor out. And he was extremely lucky that one of the guys in the boat seen that he had fell in instantly and reached up. And when he come up, he grabbed him and got the life jacket. He was wearing a life jacket. I'll get to that in just a moment. Grabbed his life jacket at his coat. And by then he was already had gasped water and was in trouble. The water temperature was 36 degrees. It wasn't terribly warm out, as my understanding anyhow. And they walked him around to the back of the boat, and the boat had pods on it and a swim ladder built into it. We have swim ladder on our Lumacraft. We ordered one on our new Excel. That is something that everyone should consider. When buying a boat, if it doesn't have one on it, consider installing one or having it installed. The fact that this ladder was on there and they was able to get him up in the boat, get him stripped down, put another gentleman's clothes on him, and was roughly 10 miles from the boat ramp, run the boat hard as it could go all the way back, where the tournament director was sitting there with his truck on the ramp, warmed up, and they got him out of the boat, got him in that truck, got some drier clothes on him, probably saved his life. And I talked to the gentleman that helped get him in the boat yesterday. He was very shooken. Some of you may have seen the video that he posted. He was excited during that video, as he should have been. I talked to him later on that night. I talked to him twice today. I talked to the gentleman that fell out of the boat and visited with the other gentleman in the boat, and they are pretty shaken. I am the world's worst about not wearing life jackets. I'm just going to tell you straight up. Doc is the best that I know of. He never takes his off unless he's taking a jacket off or something. He wears his religiously, and I'm proud of him for that. Even the new lightweight inflatable ones I find extremely uncomfortable. They rub on me in places you're not supposed to be rubbed on. But folks, I can't impress enough of how important these life jackets are. The life jacket that the gentleman was wearing, he found 2 years ago on the side of the road where it had blown out of somebody's boat going down the water, going down the road. And he stopped and picked it up and has been wearing it all this time. So higher power, very possibly. The fact that he had that on saved his life. It saved the two other members in the boat of having bad memories for the rest of their life. So it's extremely important for these life jackets. I also believe that it is nearly as important to have one of those swim ladders on the back of your boat. For years, Cindy and I had our old tracker. We took it out, and we had a pool ladder that attached over the side of the boat. in case one of us would get out of the boat with my shoulder issues and her knee issues and being as big and full figured as I am, it would be hard. She would never be able to get me in the boat. With my shoulder, it would be hard for me to get her in the boat. So we always carried that swim ladder in the bottom of the floor. There's a big door that opens up, and it laid in the bottom of that boat. I can't, how long? Years. For 10 years probably. And we never had to use it. We didn't ever plan on using it. But James, I appreciate what you're saying. And this has opened my eyes. I know these guys. I recently met one of them, but I've known him online for a while. The other two guys I know quite well, one of them really well. This is a life and death situation. Now, here's something that I would like to recommend to all tournament directors, because you're never going to get tournament anglers to agree to wear a life jacket all the time. There's a lot of them that just are not going to do it, and I got that, really. I do have that. I don't like wearing them. But I would like for all tournament directors, Jeremy Cole, Alex Nagy, Tim, at All American Catfish, Jody Harrison, any of the tournament directors, and don't get mad because I missed your name, because there's no way I can remember them all. All tournament directors, I wish that you would consider making it a rule in your rule packages that all anglers must wear a life jacket whenever that big motor's running. At some point, I think that it should be considered that any time in the boat, there's several tournaments out there that fishermen have to wear life jackets all the time. It is law that children under 15 years old must have a life jacket on when the boat is moving. That doesn't mean with the big motor. That means if it moves, you must have a life jacket on a kid 15 years and older or younger. And I think that that is a great idea. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. But anytime that the boat is moving under the power of a big motor, and this is just a starting point, I just think that all tournament directors should at least consider that. I'm not telling you that's something that, by God, you got to do, because you're not going to get everybody to do it. And there are going to be some people that fight you on it. It's just like my theory about live wells. I think that there should be a minimum size live well for each tournament that you're in. If you're in a tournament with big fish, there should be a minimum size live well to protect these fish so we return them safely. It's no different with that than it is wearing a life jacket. We need to save not only the fish's life, we got to save our fisherman's life. Without fishermen, we not only do not have tournaments, we don't have fun fishing, we don't have bank fishing, we don't have anything. We got to make it safe. I would highly recommend that bank fishermen, if they're in a situation where it is tough to get up and down the bank, hard to sit still in a spot, if you cannot swim, I recommend that you wear a life jacket when you're bank fishing. Anyone can fall in the water. 36-degree water, folks. 15, 20 seconds to get him in the boat. And the gentleman told me today, by the time they got him around to the back of the boat, and we're talking 20 seconds, he couldn't climb up the ladder. All the blood had run out of his legs, and he couldn't hardly move them. They had to pull him in the boat, pull him over the rod rack, and get him up in the boat, sit down, had to take his clothes off from him and get drier clothes on him so they could get him back to the boat ramp. 20 seconds. So kid needs to wear one to fish for the bank. I agree, James. And I still say that anyone that cannot swim, if you're near water over your ankle deep, you should have one on. This is something that I fought for years. Cindy's been after me all the time to wear one. I know a lot of the tournaments have rules where you must wear one at takeoff. Well, chances are slimmer of something happening at takeoff than they are when you're anchoring or when you're going down the water or when you run up behind something or when you're pulling up on the bank. There's so many variables. When you're throwing an anchor and you pull that boat in reverse to start backing up to help the guy up on the front. How many of you has ever sat there when they hit reverse almost went over forward? I know I have. This is something we need to take very seriously. I never thought that you'd hear me say how important life jackets are. Even though my buddy Doc wears his, like I say, he's the most religious person about wearing one. As anybody I know. That is correct, Cindy. Doc fell in the water last year, and it was cold weather. The water was extremely cold, and Daniel Vance, his fishing partner, they was out fun fishing, got him in, got him to the boat ramp, got him warmed up. Isn't that correct? And got him taken care of. Daniel is several years younger than Doc and I. And he was able to do things that us older generation guys may or may not have been able to do. So Doc's not the only one. In my opinion, now this is just my opinion, Jason Bridges is probably the most experienced guide in the United States for catfishing. Just my opinion. There's lots of great guides out there. I've been fortunate enough, Cindy and I have, to be on the boat. Well, I've been on the boat with Ryan Casey. I've been on the boat with Ricky Bracken. I've been on the boat with I have been on the boat with Russ. Harold Dodd, Jason Jackson. Cindy and I took a trip with Jason when he had a client cancel one time. Was one of the greatest trips we ever was on. It wasn't that the fishing was all that good, but there's not a better person to be in a boat with on a guided trip than Jason Jackson. He was absolutely top-notch with us, and we just went down to fun fish with him because he had a cancellation. He was a ultimate professional in that boat. Jason Bridges, like I say, in my opinion, is one of the top, if not the top guide in the nation. Jason Bridges was getting shad, as I understand it, on Wheeler Lake and fell in the boat and had trouble getting out. Jason's a big old strong guy. And if he had trouble getting out, just think what it would have been like if it had been one of us further along in our years, people.
He fell in the boat or in the water?
He fell in the water.
Oh, you said in the boat.
Well, I may have fit up, but the point is he fell in the water and had a hard time getting in the boat. Tim, I'll get with you. My message box is so full. It's just unbelievable. And yesterday it got a lot fuller very fast. And I know that Paul Bird is in here. And Paul had contacted me. They're working on a way to try to get self-inflating life vest at a more reasonable cost. Any of you have any questions about that, please contact him. This is a, that's right, Walleye Thomas. He is. Jason Bridges is a real deal. And 94-pounder, that's awesome. He's a great guy. Quite a dancer, in fact. But he's one of the top guides in the nation. And it can happen to anybody. I know Cindy and I have been out catching bait, and she'll be driving the boat, and I'll get up on the front and get ready to throw the net, and I'll tell her to back up, and sometimes she gets it in a little too hard. Sometimes you think you're going over the front of that boat. You don't, but it could happen at any time. This is really something that everybody needs to consider, and like I say, I encourage all of the tournament directors to at least take a look at making it mandatory in your rule package to wear a life jacket whenever that big motor's running. Now, I have for years, and I have helped a lot of people write rules for their tournaments over the years, a lot of guys. And I always tell them, once that you set up a set of rules, you cannot change those rules from year to year. You have to wait till the end of the season, unless it is for safety. And fellas and ladies, this is for safety. This is one of the rare occasions where I would say if you change your rules, there shouldn't be anybody complain if you're trying to save their life.
In the wintertime, I think there needs to be 2 people.
That's a great point. Cindy and I talked about this earlier this afternoon, and she just brought that point up to me. Personally, we believe that there shouldn't be any tournaments in the wintertime where there's cold water, cold weather, such as our area, that should allow one person fishing team. If this gentleman had been in the boat by himself, it was over. They was 30 yards away from a barge anchoring up, and the current would have took him right to that barge. I believe the good Lord was looking after these folks. I really do. And we're so happy that things worked out the way they did. It could have very easily have happened the other way. My husband slipped out of the boat into the deck and rolled into the back into the water. And it happens just that fast. Just that fast. So, you know, I know that there's a lot of people in chat tonight, and if you guys have any other safety issues that you'd like to talk about, we will be happy to talk about them. This is something that's extremely important, and I think that everybody ought to consider this, and especially you tournament directors. You guys have the chance to make a difference or save someone's life. I just think that it's something that we need to take a look at. All of the regulations and stuff are they have to be approved. They have to abide by state and federal laws, and it's no different with a life jacket. All life jackets have to be Coast Guard approved. So when you're purchasing one, make sure that it is. That is something that you need to. I can't imagine a store selling one that wouldn't be Coast Guard approved, but there's a lot of stuff online now that doesn't necessarily stand up to federal and state laws. So please make sure that it is, and that you can get the refill kits to fill up self-inflators. You don't have to wear them. They are a lot cooler than the others, and they're more comfortable than the old orange ones or even the vest type. I just have a hard time getting comfortable in one, but still. Another safety factor that I think is extremely important is there should be a good sharp knife, easily accessible on the front of the boat and on the back of the boat. A lot of people anchor from just the front. Some people anchor from the front and back. I do know a few people that actually anchor from the back. I'm not one of them. I find that very unsafe. But there should always be a sharp knife on the front or the back. If someone's leg gets tangled up or arm gets tangled up, throwing out an anchor and it pulls them in, if you cut that line, they most likely can get loose. If you don't cut that line, they most likely, or it's going to tighten up around it so tight that you cannot get away from it. You'd be extremely lucky. So not all self-inflators are used in cold weather. That is true. This is stuff that you have to check into when you're buying these. The emergency cutoff cords is very true. I've seen a couple of people had posted that, and I hadn't got to it yet. One thing to remember about the emergency safety things is not all boats come out of the factory with them. A lot of the older boats never had them on there, and a lot of the newer boats don't have them on there, but they can be installed. You can put these on there aftermarket, and it's something that we should think about. Cindy, what do you say we spin the old rig wrap prize wheel?
Yep.
It's that time. Got a number for me?
1.
1? I like that one. Adam Isaacs. Adam Isaacs, we're going to spin the old reel for you tonight. Whisker Sticks LED lights. Adam, if you'll contact Tim and Lena, Molly over at Whisker Sticks and tell them you won on the prize wheel tonight, they will hook you up. Congratulations. You're going to love them lights if you don't already have some. They are an outstanding product. We use them all the time, and a lot of other folks do, and they're a great sponsor with a great product at Catfish Weekly. Adam, yes, he does. Doc has the flu. He's not been feeling well at all. Usually talk to Doc at least once, twice a day, and And they haven't been doing much of that lately. He's not been feeling very well at all. I know he's supposed to go to Wheeler this week, and I think he was supposed to leave today. I don't believe he's going to make it today. I think he's hoping every day he'll get a little bit better and he'll make the trip. But he's got to take care of his health first. Fishing comes second, and he's very aware of that. So Avery says his motor does not have a cutoff cord. Yeah, a lot of them don't, and especially if it's very old at all. They did not come equipped with them. The Monster Cat we had did not have one on it. This Alumacraft we have now does have. It doesn't take but a second to clip that on, and those clips, even though these boats are high-sided, you could still fall out of one. One of the things that the reason that I like high-sided boats is for grandkids, and Cindy and I both, but at times they get so high with us compact guys are not real tall. I wash my hands a lot. We keep all kinds of soap in the boat to get fish scales and stuff off of our hands and stuff so we don't get them all over. And by the time I reach over and get around all my full figuredness, well, sometimes my feet are just barely touching the floor, and other times they're not touching the floor. And you wash your hands, that's a perfect time to fall in. I love high-sided boats. I can't go back to a flat-bottom John boat. There's no way I can go back to one of those after having one of the sides are just too safe. Our grandkids, the sides on the last several boats we've had have come up to their chest. It's not that they can't fall out of the boat or jump out of the boat. Hi, Heather. But the odds are a lot better that they won't. It's just good. A good medical kit is a great idea. Cindy keeps one in the boat.
And an extra set of clothes.
And an extra set of clothes is another great one. Cindy has a first aid kit that she has a backpack that she carries in the boat with her. It has all the stuff that she needs for my snacks, whatever we need to eat or drink. What all you have in there? You got first aid kit. You got
whatever,
anything that you would need personally.
Gloves.
She's got in there. She's usually got a 6-pack of Vienna sausages in there for me because I love them.
Not in there.
Not in there. It's okay somewhere else. But she's got all kinds of stuff in there, and it's full, and it goes with us every time we get in the boat. It's just that. That's a big. Yeah, it is a big bag. Flotation device on a 25-foot of rope too. That's a great idea, Lee, and I believe that is a federal Coast Guard rule that you must have one on there. I'm not sure. They make several different kinds, and you have to have. I know you have to have a throwable device, and whether it be a seat cushion or one of the round deals, that's great. But if I understand what you're saying, a floatable device that is attached to a rope is not required by the Coast Guard. But if you have one like that and you can throw it, if they can get it, if you can get it close enough, they can get the rope or get the floatable, you can get them in. The issue in this water temperature and stuff that we had over the weekend, the grip was gone out of this gentleman. Like I say, he couldn't have got in the boat by himself. Cinnamon rolls is a plus, Heather. You are 100% correct about that. But you got to be prepared. And like I say, one guy, if that had happened to a single guy that fishes a boat by himself, he probably wouldn't have got out of there. I'm not from Georgia, but I've been eating Vienna sausages since I was a kid. Vicky, that's awesome. You just let Jason make fun of you over that bag. It doesn't make any difference. He can make fun of you or not. You got what you need, and if he doesn't bring one, that's he just doesn't have what he needs.
Yep, that has his snacks in it.
It does have his snacks, probably. Yeah. Now, one of the other things to remember is this was brought to my attention today with one of the conversations I had with some guys. They said, well, people make fun of you for wearing that life jacket. Let them make fun of you. If they ever fall in, they will never do that again. I promise you. Rain suit is a great idea, Mike. If they don't care enough about their home life, their children, their wife, themselves, to wear a life jacket in instances where if you fall in, you're probably not going to get back out. Then let them talk and make fun of people, whoever they want to. It wouldn't matter to me, because it's common sense at this point after what we went through over the weekend. And hearing the stories that I heard on the phone today nearly brought tears to my eyes. These guys were so thankful the way things turned out, but they was all still scared half to death because of what could have been. And I was on the phone with everybody in messages about this no less than I'm going to say 3 hours today.
Well, if there hadn't been 3 people in the boat, they wouldn't have made it.
They probably would. We're talking about a 270-pound guy. Can you imagine just any one of you trying to get a guy that has lost all of his ability to get himself in the boat and to try to get a 270-pound man back in the boat by yourself? I'm not a big proponent of more than 2 people in a fishing tournament. In this instance, it saved him having the extra person to help get him in the boat. They walked him along the side or the outside of the boat all the way around the back. And they're estimating 20 seconds for that. I'd say that's probably about right. Dustin, that'll be awesome. I'd place to store them cinnamon rolls in a rod rack. That'd be really cool. Yeah, 20 seconds, 2 guys. It happens that fast. And the gentleman told me himself that he could not climb that ladder by himself. They had to pull him in. And I know this is getting redundant, but like I say, safety, safety, safety. We got to be thinking of our family and our personal lives. And Sonny, I don't think I could fish a night tournament anymore by myself. I used to love to fish by myself. Cindy and the kids haven't allowed me to do that for some time. I don't know why, because I'm not going to put myself in any danger intentionally, but accidents do happen. But night tournaments, we don't fish hardly any night tournaments anymore. We had an issue a couple years ago. And another thing that happened to us, my son and I was fishing on Truman Lake. The water was at a record level. This was several years ago. We was in a 18-foot flat bottom john boat, and he threw the anchor out, and the anchor got hung, and we was going around a bend in the river channel, and we went to pull the anchor up, and I said, Tony, you can't pull it up. It's hung. He said, I'll get it. And by now the front of the boat was going under, and he wouldn't cut the rope. He was hard-headed. He was going to get that regardless. I said, you're going to sink the boat if you don't turn it loose. So finally, he did turn it loose, for the fact that the rope would burn his hand so bad that he couldn't stop it. So common sense is a lot of the problems that people have is common sense, and that he didn't understand. He didn't want to give up a $60 or $70 anchor. Well, that's a small price to pay for your life. I mean, it's just we make anchors every day. All you got to do is go get you a new one. It's not a big deal. Don't ever put yourself in them situations. He now understands that it's not worth trying to save that anchor. We'd build another one or go buy another one. It don't make any difference. Cindy and I got into a wing dike in a night tournament 3 or 4 years ago, something like that, whatever. And we got into a wing dike, got turned around. The boat, the transducers, both was turned up. We had no indication of how deep the water was at. It was dark. I mean, dark. And we had a hard time getting out of there because the water was forcing the boat up against the dike, and we couldn't get out. Finally got out of there. And we didn't fish any of the other spots that we could had marked that day. It's just, we wasn't going to take a chance on it. And that's one of the reasons why we don't fish too many night tournaments anymore now on strange water. Now, if we was at the lake or up home on the Mississippi River where we grew up and I'm very familiar with, that'd be one thing. But to go to strange water and fish in a tournament at night water I wasn't familiar with, it's probably not going to happen. lot of guys fish water all the time that they're not familiar with, but most of them guys are 20, 30 years old too. And that makes a big difference. If something happens, a lot of them can swim to the bank. I can't make it to the bank anymore. So we're not going to put ourselves in those situations. Sonny, you're right. Material items can be replaced. A life cannot. That is one of the best statements that I've heard all night. It is very true. Got hit by a storm and couldn't get to your life jackets fast enough. Yeah, I can see that happen. And it's just a lot of things. So we've had a couple of pretty good deals people have talked about. If any of you have any more comments or anything that you'd like to tell about that that would be helpful and help us figure out some safety issues, please don't hesitate to put them in there. We'd like to know of anybody that has suggestions for this. And what do you say we spin the old rig wrap prize wheel while we're waiting? Give me another number. 2. 1, 2. A lot of people in on this tonight. Jeremy Cottingham. Jeremy Cottingham. Let's see what we can spin up for Jeremy tonight. I did pick you. Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Jeremy, contact James Arwood at Hooker's Terminal Tackle and tell him you want some Mad Catter hooks on Catfish Weekly's Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game. Thanks for watching the show tonight, buddy. And thanks, James, and the whole bunch over at Hooker's Terminal Tackle for being a part of our show. He's been a sponsor for us for a long time, and we appreciate everything he does, not only for us, but for everyone in the sport. One of the guys that had thought about being on the show with us tonight that was in that boat just sent me a message, and he said he's having a hard enough time listening to this and reliving it that he's not going to join us tonight. And we wondered about these things, you know. A couple of the guys didn't want their names mentioned. I respect that. I wouldn't even have done this show tonight without the approval of those guys. I talked to them today, and I wanted them to know how important it is to get this out. We all have things that happen. Things can happen so fast, and I really think that these issues need to be brought up to keep it from happening to someone else. And they all agreed. So that's where we're at with that. One of the things that I find myself having to watch really close is when you're throwing an anchor out, getting your feet tangled up in a rope. But it's not just anchor ropes. I see a lot of guys that don't wrap and coil up their rope on a throw net. I have seen them get those tangled up in their feet. I have also seen them get them hung on rod holders when they throw them out and either fall in or almost fall in. So those are a couple of things that you really need to watch. That's real, like Daniel. A lot of people put all these people in their boat, and they don't realize that they probably have more people weight in the boat than what the Coast Guard says you should have in there. So it's something that you need to really watch. Yeah, that's right, Lee. We're so happy that they're all okay. It's really great that everybody was able to go to work and do their job today. I mean, this is a heck of a deal. And Alex having his boat or truck at the ramp with the heater running full bore to get this gentleman warmed up, that's a huge deal. And that's what a great tournament director does. He makes sure that even though he's not out there, that he has everything done so that can give them the best opportunity to do well that they can. Sonny, I put mine in those two. Well, you've seen mine. I have a rubber tub that's a feed pan that you buy at any store. And the only thing that I would recommend about that is to drill holes in the bottom of it so the water can get out of it. Mine does not have holes in it, but it will have here as soon as next time we uncover the boat. And the reason it is going to get that is because when it gets cold like this, if you put your rope up wet, it will freeze together and you can't get it apart. Joe
H said to tell someone where you're fishing would be a good thing.
That is a great idea, Joe, is to tell somebody the area where you're going to be fishing at. That's a great idea. That's exactly right, real catnappers. Asian carp. You don't have to be throwing a cast net. All you got to be doing is going around, and they will jump up and whack you. They will throw you or knock you out of the boat. I see my brother get hit upside the head with one. It probably weighed 30 pounds, broke his nose, tore up his glasses. He looked funny for about a week. I thought it was funny. He did not. But then again, I just had a tooth pulled, and that was the side it was going to hit on. So I moved, and the carp got him. But it doesn't have to be that big of one of those things to knock you out of the boat. Yep, just go to Tractor Supply. I've used milk crates before, but they get brittle and they break, and then the rope gets hung in them. Next thing you know, a piece of that rope will get in there, and while you're letting it out, milk crate, rope, anchor, and all is gone. So that's why I quit using the milk crates. The boat swamped and flipped and tossed them all out.
Ooh.
Wow. My wife tracks my iPhone and knows all of my fishing spots. That I didn't even know that you could do that. But if someone can track your phone, at least they would have an idea where you was at. That I didn't know that you could do that. But then again, I've told you guys before, as far as I'm concerned, a phone is for answering and calling. I know very little more about using them. I have done some videoing with ours, but I'm not very good at it. And I have no desire to learn the new phone techniques or anything just because of that. Yes, that's exactly right, Sonny. That's what happened to mine. They broke in the winter. I quit using them. I haven't had any trouble since I went to the app for it, okay? Since I went to the feed pans, and they're very supple, hard rubber, and other than making sure you get the water out of them and before it freezes, that's about the only issues. And drilling holes in them, the water will run out. I just hadn't done mine, but I would say a 1/2-inch drill bit, good sharp one to go through that rubber, and that'll save you lots of issues down the road. Size Matter Catfishing. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Good to see you in here tonight. Steering systems can fail and throw a boat completely out of control. That is correct. Always check your power steering if you have power steering, and if you don't, be sure to check your cables and stuff to make sure that they are free and easily to move. Another thing that'll happen to them, if water gets up in the backside of a steering cable next to your motor, it can freeze. I have been backed in going on a duck hunt and backed out and went to turn it, and there I was floating down the river because I could not turn the steering. And the boat we was in, we hunted out of a lot, had 3 heaters in it, and the sides come up, front and back come up, and I fired all the heaters up as I floated down the river until enough heat was in there to thaw out the steering cable, and then we fired back up, picked up the other 2 guys, and we went duck hunting. But one way to keep a lot of that from happening is to keep a lubrication on those steering cables back at the back. Something that works extremely well, it's extremely messy if it gets on you, is anti-seize. That will keep that from happening. But if you ever get it on you, it's nearly impossible to get off, and get you on your clothes, they're ruined. But it will keep that from freezing up right there. And I've used it a lot of times before. Have a checklist before you take out your boat. That's a great one, Lena. We have a checklist sometimes when we take off on trips. Not that we still don't forget some things, but a checklist is a great idea. Make some shirts with inner tube sewed in like the kitty floats. That's not a bad idea, actually. Hey, Randy, welcome. Sticks lodged in the motor makes it not turn. Mike, you are 100% correct. It has happened to us. And big sticks and logs in high water, when the stuff are floating down there, will get between your motor and your transom. Like I say, I had that happen. Both transducers point up in the air. They do you zero good at that point. And you're stuck while you're floating backwards trying to get them logs out of there, or forwards or sideways, because your boat just keeps turning usually. The whole time you're losing ground on where you're at. And then you got to get we've had trees this big around wedged in between the motor and transom. So keep an idea on what you're doing and pay attention to this stuff. $42 million of damage to property. Boating accidents involved 626 deaths, 2,613 injuries, approximately 42 million in damage of property. In 2016, that's a great statistic, Glenn. Checks and services, that's exactly right. Stephen, that is also true. We actually got to the tournament one time, and I didn't have the rear light in the boat. It was missing. Or no, it wasn't missing. It was broken. It was broken.
God, that you had it.
Yeah, it broke it, and we got it back. It had been stepped on, and we had to borrow a light. I have also been out on the water, go to put the lights in and turn them on, and one of them didn't work, or both of them didn't work. So you should always check your lights before you leave if you're going to be out of before or after dark. Make sure your motor's good to go. Check it. Keep it washed up, cleaned. Start it up. Everybody should have a set of the earmuff things that goes on the side of your motor. You can fire it up right there with no damage to your motor, right to your driveway. So you get up there and you don't launch your boat, and then it didn't start, and then you're out in the water and can't get back in. I'm sure that's right. Texoma's highways. I am sure.
Catfish quoted said, "Do you think Mississippi is the worst for debris?"
No.
Wow.
No, I do not think the Mississippi is worst. I think the Missouri is the worst. I would rank the Missouri as for debris as the worst anywhere that I've ever been, and the reason for that is the first dam is in South Dakota, so it's free water. And since they don't maintain the wing dikes anymore, they're slowly dissolving, going away. These gentlemen told me the 7-8 mile an hour current the other day when this happened. So, but the Missouri is like that. You know, you guys think we joke about that. The Missouri River is 6, 7, 8 mile an hour most all the time. And a lot of you will never see that unless you come over here and fish the Missouri or the Mississippi. You will never see that kind of current. Most people, Aaron Wheatley, he can believe it. He fishes down there on the Ohio River when their current is really smoking. It's 3 or 4 mile an hour. And that's, I can't remember being on the Missouri when it was that slow. Just can't remember it. Why don't they maintain them? It's because there's not enough barge traffic anymore on the Missouri River, Matthew. They just they quit maintaining it on the account of that, and I don't think there's much at all for barge traffic once it gets up past Kansas City or St. Joe. I'd be surprised if there is any, but I've been on the Missouri a lot of times in the last 10 years, and you only see 2 or 3 barges in that length of time. They just don't use it that much. Now, I know that Jeff City has some barge traffic, and I know up around Kansas City they have some. But as far as going up the Missouri from St. Louis, I mean, you could sit there all day, maybe 2 days, and never see a barge go up there. They just don't have the amount of barge traffic. Now, the Mississippi, that's a whole new deal. There's a lot of barge traffic on it all the time, everywhere. But from St. Louis down, I would say it's the worst. The Ohio River has a lot of barge traffic for no bigger river than it is.
You should start your motor before you pull your anchor.
Oh, yes. That is 100% correct. I don't know who said
Several
that. But
people did.
yeah, start your motor before you ever pull the anchor. And normally what we do is Cindy gets in and she takes the motor in and out of gear as I pull the anchor rope up. And another thing about that, pulling that anchor rope up, if you guys have seats in the front of your boat, it's a good idea just to sit down, because if whoever's operating the boat would happen to go too hot into that throttle to move you up or move you back, it could toss you off. So something to think about. We don't always have the extra seat up front, but a lot of times we do. And I will tell you right now, Cindy gets mad at me, but I will not let her pull an anchor up. It's not going to happen. Before we do that, I'll cut the rope and we'll leave the anchor, because I won't take the chance on her falling out of the boat trying to pull it up just to save me from having shoulder problems. It's not worth that to me. Very narrow spots. I wondered about that. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, the Ohio River is very, very busy with barge traffic, and I was extremely surprised at that. But like I say, and for me, the Ohio is not that big a river. I know it's long, and it's got a lot of bends and stuff in it, but like I say, we grew up on the Missouri and the Mississippi, and for people that's not been there until you witness it, it's a little hard to imagine. And I know some people don't think what we talk about on there. Some of the guys we've had on the show over the years have talked about that, but they're like no other rivers that you ever seen. In the Missouri, not having any dams from South Dakota on, it's a lot different than the Mississippi. Now, once you get past St. Louis, that's the last dam, and the Mississippi starts getting wilder and wilder as you go south. Now, I haven't been too much further south past Memphis, but we'll be going to Vicksburg, and we'll figure out how it is down there. But it is a lot wider down there, and that makes a lot of difference. You have been the anchor man, Sonny. You have been.
Well, where was it? Between Memphis and that area that had that real rough water, deep, that we went around. We fished the second tournament, or the tournament before Memphis. It was some real rough water.
Yeah, we got in some rough water down below Memphis, but it was smoking hot.
But we went.
Well, we was up there too. I can't remember every spot was at, but you know, we've been down in Memphis in some smoking hot current, and you just have to watch it. You just have to watch it, Mike. You don't have to be afraid of the Mississippi, but that old girl deserves respect, and if you don't give her that respect, she'll bite you. And the Missouri is the same way. Like I say, I grew up on them rivers. They don't scare me at all, but I do have a high regard for both of them. And like I say, there's a lot of people that go out on them once, and some of them never want to go back again. Others are intrigued by it, but you just have to. Safety is the number one priority.
Time to spin the wheel.
Time to spin the wheel. Well, let's just do that. 3 it is. 1, 2, 3. And the winner is John Patrick. Patrick. And let's just see what Cindy can spin up for John. That's correct, Sonny. That is correct. Easy sinker slides. John, if you will send me your name and address after the show, I have some easy sinker slides here with your name on them, and we will get them shipped right out to you. Now, there's a lot of guys in here tonight that's not how you pronounce your name. I'm sorry, bud. I'm sorry. We can't thank Glenn enough for everything he does for Catfish Weekly and the sport of catfishing. He helps a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and Rig Wrap is a great product. And I have 1 pack of easy sinker slides left. And they will go out tomorrow, John, if you make sure you send me your name and address. Thank you so much, Glenn, for everything you do for us. It means the world to us. You know, I should have moved this. I don't know if anybody's having trouble hearing us or not, but I forgot to move that microphone.
I think they would have told you.
I would have thought so, but you never know. Have a few people get dizzy and sick. You get seasick, Travis, looking over the side of that, watching that current go by. But I got to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're on the Ohio River, the Mississippi, or the Missouri River, or any other river. There's not much more relaxing thing to do than sit there while you're waiting on fish to bite and listen to that current go by your boat. And every once in a while you hear a stick or something whack it or something, and you look to see how big it is as it floats out the back of it. It's very, very therapeutic, I guess is the word I'm looking for, just to hear the water go by the boat and sit there and watch stuff happen. It's really it's really worked out really well. And while I'm thinking about it, before we get off on something else, the reason we figured out why we're having problems with our new program not working. To operate it with guest and dock and stuff on it, we're having to run my computer at 100% CPU usage, and it just won't do it. So we're working on that to get something that'll fix that. We're looking at building a new computer and be big enough to withstand any of that. So as soon as we get those problems eliminated, we will be back to doing the Facebook Live and YouTube at the same time. It works perfectly well when it's just me on Friday afternoons, or when we have Jeremy Coe on. That works really well. Just two people. By the time we get 2 or 3 cameras on here and TeamViewer and dock on and a guest, it just overloads my computer. At the time it was bought, it was supposed to be the biggest and baddest there was, but for this program, it is not. But never fear, we are going to make that happen one way or the other. I was going to Dieter. Oh, that's something else. Watts Bar Lake has barges from Chattanooga to Knoxville. I'm sure that's right.
I think they all found out on Tawakoni how bad the waves was.
Yeah, I understand Tawakoni was really rough down there, and I'm so glad that everybody got in and out without any issues. I understand Jerry Ishcomer tore the loaner unit up on his boat. Don't toss your anchor, rope, and ball to chase a fish or something else until you are at the end of the rope. It will end up in the motor. That is very, very true. Good words of advice there, Cliff. Well, it has to be a T7 or some kind of processor. The one we're looking at actually has a 16 core processor in it. So we'll see how that works out. But it's supposed to be really bad. Well, thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Okay. Anybody got anything else they want to recommend to us to go over tonight? Any more suggestions on safety tips? A lot of trees and debris is very dangerous. That is correct. And especially at night when you can't see, because a lot of them coming down at night you don't see. Something I want to mention too: barges. In the old days when we was all kids and growing up, you could hear them barges when they come around the corner a mile down the river. But they're not like that now. They are very quiet. They'll sneak up on you. They're not as noisy as they once was, and the current will actually make enough noise sometimes that if they don't blow that whistle or that horn, you don't know how close to you they really are. And someone should be looking forward and backwards most all the time to see what's going on with that. John Spear, you're correct. Drain plugs. And I would recommend that everybody keep a spare drain plug in their boat. We keep one in the back, and I keep one in a cup holder in the front.
You got to keep it in the boat too, huh, Lyle?
What?
A plug.
What?
Oh, you talking about plugs?
Yeah, plug in a boat. Doc has a sticker on the side of his motor. Don't forget to plug, babe. Lynn requested that he do that, and he did do that. I forgot to plug in a boat once over in Springfield, Illinois. I forgot it one other time. You'd think after the first time you'd never forget it, but you will forget it again if you don't have a reminder. So it's something that we all should have. And we have a spare one in the door of the truck also.
Randy Beck says he's a first-time viewer.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you so much for watching Catfish Weekly. I'm glad you like it. It's we tried to do something different. Usually we have Doc in here with us. He's not feeling well tonight. And like I say, for you folks that if you get a chance, keep Doc in your thoughts, because we all know what the stomach flu is like, and we don't want him to be down very long. Hope he's drinking a lot and staying hydrated. If the sand mining boats are anchored, it's got big cables out 100 foot on every corner. Wow, that's news I did not know. On every corner, 100 foot. Wow. Now, are you talking, Mike, are you talking about the dredging machines? Forgot the boat keys. Well, I hope you didn't have too far of a drive. We have spare keys, and
well, you broke your key off.
I did break one off and floated away from the dock one time at Wheeler Lake. You know, things happen, and seems like if it happens to anybody, it happened to me. So.
Do you have a tip for tonight since you don't have Doc?
Wear your life jacket. Wear your life jacket.
Don't forget your remote for your trolling motor.
Don't forget your remote for your trolling motor. While you're talking about that, Daniel, people, it'd be a good idea to just change the battery in them every spring and keep a spare with you, because if you use the trolling motor a lot like we do, you never know how long those batteries are going to last. You don't know how long they've been sitting on the shelf at the store to start with. And that's something else to consider. But I think it's a good idea to change those batteries out and those remotes every spring. And we keep a spare one with us all the time.
Check the dates on the batteries when you're buying batteries. Make sure you're not getting old.
That's a good idea. Check the dates on the batteries. Jumper cables is a good thing. We've got away from that. Cindy bought a jump box. We've pulled people in before and couldn't get them to weigh in on time because they couldn't go fast enough, or they're too far away, or this or that. So we now have a jump box we take in the boat with us, so we keep it in the house and charged up. And that jump box, if it won't start you, jumper cables sure enough aren't going to. A spotlight's a great idea. Even more than one is a good idea. Ours plug in to the cigarette lighter. And we also have a positive and negative that the wires turn into a plug-in for a cigarette, like a cigarette lighter. So if you have an older boat or you don't have a cigarette lighter in your boat, you can buy those. They're just a red and a black clip, hooks onto a battery, and it's got a plug just like a cigarette lighter, and you can plug any 12-volt outlet that's wired for a cigarette lighter type thing to work. So it really works out really good. Charge your battery when your remote and smoke alarm. That's a great idea, Sonny. Great idea. Jumper pack, yeah, that's what we have. And I think it's a great idea. You know, if somebody is having issues, and we've helped guys try to jump start them and couldn't get them to jump start, but a jump pack puts out so much more voltage, and it doesn't take a chance on shorting something out or a spark and blowing a battery or anything like that. It's just a good idea. Lights on boats. I would recommend that people check out their regulations in their state, because a lot of the states A lot of these guys are putting these big lights on boats. They are illegal in a lot of states, Missouri being one of them. But I know people are doing it all the time, and that's fine if that's what they want to do. But I would never encourage anyone to do anything that would break the law or get them in trouble. Add an extra bilge pump. That's a great idea. And be sure and check to make sure yours work before you ever leave the house. Make me a plaque for Promoter of the Year. You do. And we appreciate everything you do, Dieter. Russ says, I have a checklist on my boat in the same order of doing it. Plug in first, then unstrap. Do it the same every time. Repetitiveness will make you work harder to make sure you get everything done. A super cap is smaller and has a very long life. That's awesome. Good to know. Any recommendation for LED pods? I'm not sure what you're talking about. LED pods. Thank you, Hog Snatcher. We appreciate it. Good to walk around. If you guys haven't considered doing it, if you have packable wheel bearings on your boat, now before the busy season starts would be a great time to go ahead and get that done. Rig wrap cutters for fish barbs in your hand. I know somebody that done that.
You want to spin one more time? It's 8 o'clock.
Yep. I forgot to plug one time, and it will teach you in a hurry to never forget. Yeah. That's what I thought, and then I forgot it again once. Let's go ahead and spin the old rig wrap prize wheel again. Oop, I got to get out of there. That's the wrong spot.
Don't forget your oars.
Don't forget your oars. You're supposed to have one paddle of some sort on your boat at all times. And I mean, tell you, if that has chips out of it or the handle is split from being in the boat and being wet and dried and wet and dried too many times, they will give you a ticket for that. And they can. Pick me out a number.
3.
3. 1. 2. 3. And the winner is William Winterstein. Winterstein. Mudbum Supply Shack. William, if you'll contact the guys up at Mudbum Supply Shack, they have a gift certificate for you. I will also contact them and tell them you was a winner on our show. They are a great sponsor to us and have given away a lot of stuff. We appreciate everything they do for the sport of catfishing. And William, thank you so much for watching Catfish Weekly and being part of our Rig Wrap Prize Wheel game.
B Angler said that's not the way you say his name.
I thought that's what he said last time. For those of you that missed Dieter on this afternoon, he was doing a live stream. He was trying to catch bait. He had a couple swings and missed, but he had some good stuff to listen to. You should run on over and check him out and listen to today's feed because there's nobody I'd rather watch miss fish than Dieter. But he had some good topics that they talked about on there, and it was very, very good to watch him. Had 140 people watching him at one time. Enjoyed it very much. I just had to leave so I could get over here and set this all up.
Charles Keene said, never let someone else hook up your boat to the truck.
That's a great point to make. And if someone does help you, make sure you go over it and check everything again. Because the last thing you want to do is something come unbuttoned when you're going down the road. That is a great idea.
Make sure you got plenty of water out.
Need at least 2 paddles on board. Hard to paddle a sizable boat with just one paddle and make sure they are long enough. That's a great point also. Don't forget to latch the trailer to the truck. 100% correct. 100% correct. Charles, that's a really good idea, is to always make sure you do it. And I do, like I say, Cindy and I kind of work together on this, but most of the time I'm the one hooking it up. Not that she can't do it, but keeps us from going back and double checking each other. Of course, she double checks me all the time, and I try to do her, but there's really no need in all that. But you don't, if you do double check each other, you usually don't forget things. Tried to snatch him perch out there like a boss. Yeah, there's nothing better. He'd jerk up on that thing like he was setting the hook on a big old flathead or something, and like Luke Hinges does, and swing and a miss. Whoosh, all gone. It was funny. I enjoyed it very much. Okay.
What?
All right, guys, if we don't have anything else to go over tonight.
Cross your trailer chains.
That's another good idea.
Forms a cradle for your tongue. It comes as Stephen here. He just
yeah, crossing your chains or your cables on your trailer is a really good idea. A lot of us have been doing that for a long time. If your PFD have to have clear U.S. Coast Guard stamp, you must be able to read it is what is stamped on it. That is correct. It doesn't matter if it's brand new. If they can't read it, you're probably going to get a ticket or at least a warning for it.
Also, you got to hook up those new PDFs.
Yeah. This isn't really all that funny of a story, but it's true. Thank you, Tim. We bought a set of PDFs, inflatables, 4 or 5 years ago. We had them things and put them on religiously in tournaments and stuff. Wore them a lot. When times got tough and you was concerned, we'd put them on. They never was filled up from the factory. Nobody told us that you had to buy the deal to fill them up. We was wearing them things.
No, you had to put them together.
You couldn't, at the time we found out that the piece that goes inside them, we couldn't even get them apart to put them in there. And we've been wearing these things 2 or 3 years. And if one of us got in the water, they wouldn't even have went off. And I was very disappointed in that. And then we go to set them to hook them up. You couldn't even buy but one of them at a time because nobody stocked the piece that went in there. We finally did get some, and still we never did make them work. I threw them away. We went and bought new ones, and a lot better to do that than it was.
Cheaper.
Where's that beautiful wooden catfish trophy? Cindy won't let me have it in the shop. It's in our living room, and we'll bring it back out here and show it. Yeah, I'm kind of crowded right now, but yeah, it is beautiful. I love it a lot. It is really nice. Okay. I'm going to mention to you guys next Monday night on Catfish Weekly, we're going to have Chris and Kylie Baldwin on the show with us. They are the man and woman team. Chris is a guide. I don't know if his wife Kylie helps him guide or not, but they are going to be on here. And we're going to talk about everything from fishing Lake Texoma to winning the Possum Kingdom Cat Masters last year. So get some questions ready for these guys. Really nice folks. Had a great visit with them on the phone the other day. And we're going to get them on here and we'll pick their brain about some stuff. Chris has really been putting some giant fish in a boat. He's been down on Texoma knocking them out. So might be a good guy for us to listen to. And when he talks, he'll have some good input for us.
He said his guy, Glenn Grover, made that catfish.
Glenn says he has a minimum, order a minimum of 100. So if you can get 100 folks together, he'll get them. Glenn, did I miss something on the price of those, or is this something that you just posted up? Because I know I've missed a lot of stuff on here tonight. Thank you, KMB. We appreciate that. Pardon me.
Russ said if you use one of them automatic inflators, that must be worn at all times, not in the bottom of the boat.
Yeah, it doesn't do no good to have it if you're not going to wear it. $35 each. That's a great price. That is a great price. Cindy and I, when we was talking to JR today, decided that we would buy two more of the inflatables just to have. So if that happens out and you decide to do that, you can mark us down for a pair. Have whistles attached to your life jacket. Man, what a great idea. Whistles are some type of sound device is required on the boat, but having one hooked up on your life jacket is a great idea, especially at night. You will get a ticket if not on there. I'm sure that's right. So having a whistle attached to your life jacket, that's a great idea. Dean Grover, thank you so much for that. It is a beautiful wood sculpture, and I dearly love it. Cindy does too, and that's the reason it's not out here is because she loves it. Glenn says he will get all the details and have it all for us next week on Catfish Weekly. Thank you, Glenn. Northeast Kansas fishermen, I will take 2 also. Any pictures of them or something? Thank you, IB Queen Finn. Thank you.
I don't think so.
Two don't
makes more noises.
I didn't see that, but
well, I think that they need to take it off.
Okay. Yes, they are Coast Guard approved, automatic inflatable at 35. You're welcome, PD. That is a beautiful thing. I just dearly love it. Put reflective tape on them. That's a great idea, Russ. Thank you, Sonny. I'm glad that everybody liked it. We'll try. You know, I think that we ought to probably do something on the safety line. And you guys think about this. You guys watch this show every week.
Send us some.
So send us some ideas on safety ideas, the stuff that we should talk about.
Sunscreen
because
needs to be kept.
Sunscreen. Cindy has had a bout with skin cancer, as some of you know, and keep your sunscreen on you at all times and keep extra in the boat. All right. That's enough of that.
Did you take them off?
Yep, I just did. I don't need that. Stephen Hare wants to know what size are available. I'm sure he'll take. Mickey Holland wants 3. We're liable to sell them all tonight for you, Glenn. He's gone, John. No worries. Well, Russ, you know, again, all the little things that you do as a guide, you have to prepare for. A lot of that's common sense, but I still say if you're guiding, you should have to have a Coast Guard 6-pack license. You shouldn't be allowed to guide without one on any water. It's just a common sense thing to know that your clients are in safe hands. I believe that with all my heart. Well, he's not supposed to.
What?
Oh, I see. I made a mistake.
What'd you do? You removed the wrong person?
No, I just removed the thing. I got rid of him this time. Well, we don't have to have it. We don't have to put up that.
Well, I thought I removed him too. And blocked
Remove, don't do it.
I blocked him.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, Russ, that's just, that's common sense. James Webbs wants to, Glenn. You might start taking orders. Thank you, John. We appreciate it. Cliff Miller, I hope you got your package in the mail today. It was supposed to be at your house. So don't forget to tune in next Monday night, and we'll talk with Chris and Kylie Baldwin. It should be a great show. Thank you, K&B. We appreciate it. We don't need guys like that. We don't need to listen to that. We have young children and kids that watch this, and to be quite honest, I don't need to know about that myself. So we get rid of them as quickly as we can. I hit the wrong button, and or he'd have been gone long before now. I want to thank everybody for watching Catfish Weekly tonight and our safety show. Please think about what you're doing. You tournament directors, I will be looking forward to seeing some input, whether you like what I had to say or not, about making it a rule in your tournaments to require everybody to wear PFDs while they're on the water with their big motors running. I know that's not going to be popular with some people. I think it's common sense, and I think that you guys need to at least consider it. I will understand if you don't do anything about it, Like I say, I'm the world's worst at not wearing them. I don't like to wear them. But this was a crude awakening for a lot of folks, what happened over the weekend. So everybody should at least consider it. And you guys that don't wear them ever, like me, think about what you're doing, because this is something that affected some people very dearly over the weekend. And it woke up some folks, me being one of them. So thanks for watching Catfish Weekly. We'll see you next Monday night right here on YouTube.